We live in an age where doubt is celebrated and faith is questioned. Truth has become negotiable. Morality is seen as subjective, belief in God. For many, it's considered old-fashioned. But have you ever stopped to wonder why skepticism has become the new belief system of our time? In this episode of ThinkFaith Nexus, we're going to explore the cultural, philosophical, and spiritual forces driving modern skepticism, and more importantly, how we can stand firm in truth when everything around us feels like it's being questioned. Skepticism didn't start on social media. It didn't even start with modern philosophy. It started in a garden. In Genesis chapter 3, the serpent's very first words to humanity were a question designed to sow doubt. Did God really say? That single question introduced a virus of doubt that still infects every generation. But the modern form of skepticism we see today has deeper philosophical roots. During the Enlightenment, a major shift occurred. Reason began to replace revelation as the supreme authority. Thinkers like Descartes started with the self, saying, "I think, therefore I am." David Hume famously cast doubt on the possibility of miracles, and Friedrich Nietzsche went a step further, declaring, "God is dead." The result of this intellectual movement was a massive shift in how we understand truth. Truth moved from being something objective and divine, anchored in God, to something human, subjective, and endlessly debatable. What began as a noble pursuit of reason, over time, led many to a wholesale rejection of revelation. And today, that same spirit of skepticism isn't just confined to philosophy books. It's a part of our everyday lives, conversations, and culture. Now, let's be clear. The modern world has achieved incredible things. We've developed life-saving medicines, traveled to space, and created artificial intelligence that would have seemed like magic just a century ago. But with all this progress came a certain kind of pride. Humanity began to believe it no longer needed God. The unspoken message in our culture became, if we can explain it with science, we can live without faith. But that's a fundamental misunderstanding. Science is fantastic at explaining how things work, the mechanics of the universe. But faith explains why they exist in the first place, their purpose and meaning. Psalm 14:1 puts it bluntly, "The fool says in his heart, there is no God." It's important to understand the Hebrew word for fool here. It doesn't mean someone who is unintelligent or lacks intellectual capacity. It means someone who is morally disconnected from truth. When knowledge is separated from wisdom, it can easily curdle into arrogance. The more we glorify human reason as the ultimate authority, the more we risk losing our connection to divine revelation. One of the most powerful shifts in modern culture is this move from objective truth to what people call personal truth. You hear it all the time in phrases like, "Well, that's your truth," or "Just follow your heart," and the ever-popular "Live your truth." But let's think about that logically. Two opposite things can't both be true. At the same time, in the same way, in John 14:6, Jesus makes a profound and exclusive claim. He says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." He didn't say he was a truth among many. He declared he was the truth. When truth becomes purely subjective, morality inevitably collapses. If there's no ultimate standard, who's to say what's right or wrong? The prophet Isaiah warned about this thousands of years ago in Isaiah 5:20, saying, "Woe to those who call evil good, and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness." Our culture doesn't lack intelligence. What it lacks is absolutes. Because when you remove God as the ultimate standard for reality, you remove any firm foundation for truth itself. And let's be honest with ourselves for a moment. One of the biggest reasons skepticism is growing is because people have been genuinely hurt by religion. Church scandals, hypocrisy, greed, and judgment have all driven people away from faith, not toward it. It's a painful reality we have to acknowledge. But rejecting God because of the failures of broken people is like refusing to see the sun because you're looking through a cracked window. The cracks distort the view, but they don't negate the existence of the sun. Jesus never called us to follow perfect people. He called us to follow him. In Matthew 7:16, he gave us a clear metric. By their fruits you will know them. Real, authentic Christianity is not about maintaining a perfect image. It's about integrity. It's about a life that reflects the character of Christ. The failures of the church throughout history don't disprove Christ. In fact, they prove exactly why we need him so desperately. Skeptics today don't just need better arguments. They need to see authentic believers who are actually living out what they preach. We're living in the most connected era in all of human history, yet finding truth has never felt harder. The internet has turned every voice into a potential authority. Anyone with a smartphone and a platform can claim to be an expert in this digital age. We've often replaced wisdom with information and discernment with raw data. As a result, skepticism thrives, not necessarily because people are thinking more critically, but because they're simply overwhelmed by the fire hose of conflicting information. Proverbs 2:6 reminds us where true understanding comes from, for the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding. The ultimate answer to the confusion of our age isn't just more information, it's revelation. And revelation always begins with a posture of humility before our Creator. So, how do we live out our faith in this age of doubt? How do we navigate these challenges? The Apostle Peter gives us the blueprint in 1 Peter 3:15. He writes, "Always be ready to give a reason for the hope that is in you, but do it with gentleness and respect." That's the key. Apologetics with humility. God doesn't fear our questions, He invites them. Remember the story of Thomas, who doubted the resurrection? Jesus didn't scold him or shame him for his doubt. He met him where he was and showed him the evidence. Faith isn't the absence of questions, it's the presence of trust in the one who holds all the answers. Modern skepticism might be growing, but so is the hunger for real, unshakable truth. As believers, our role isn't to argue people into faith. Our role is to embody truth in a way that is so compelling, so loving, and so authentic that it becomes impossible to ignore. The church must once again be known for its love, its truth, and its wisdom, not for adding to the noise, because light doesn't debate the darkness, it just shines. This is ThinkFaith Nexus, where faith meets reason, history, and truth. Stand firm, think deeply, and believe boldly. Thanks for watching, and if this was helpful, be sure to subscribe for more.